Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Um, I'm Brian, and I don't know why the Twitch box is not coming up. Twitch chat box should be up and on the site. I hope it is. I have an overlay for it. I'm still learning this stuff, folks, so bear with me here. Um, Uh, so a lot of things have happened in the last hour, 3 hours or so. Sunflower Con, which I believe I talked a little bit about on Wednesday night, if you attended or watched our VOD for CSEC East, is a go. We have a number of speakers who are coming to speak, which is great. I have. Let me see. Let me go over here to. Okay, so this is. You can follow the stream and the conference at Sunflower Con on Twitter, sunflower_con. For those of you unaware of what the sunflower's meaning is, it's the national flower of Ukraine, I believe. So, very cool. And this is the the Twitter account that Joe Gray has set up for this, and has also reached out to a number of speakers. Here's one of our speakers. Cheerio will be there, being able to speak on various things, talking about CTI analysis during international cybersecurity incidents. That's pretty cool. This will be geared towards junior analysts and people looking to break into the industry, and ideas for CTI managers. So there you go. Let me see. Who are some of the other folks? Let's see. We have Bryson Bort, I believe Bryson is. I want to get it right. He's the co-founder of the ICS Village at either DEF CON or Black Hat, I think. And he's one of the people who run Sive.io and Grim Cyber. So there you go. Pretty awesome. We got a lot of great folks, and actually there's still some chat going on on the back end here. We may have a panel. I'm handling the logistics side of this, the stream, if you will, the Zoom that people will use to log in and do everything, and Joe's handling getting the talent to come on and talk. I believe we may have, don't quote me on this, we may have one or two more slots left. So if you are watching this and say, hey, that might be a good idea, go talk to Joe Gray, or go hit up sunflowercon_con. I believe the talent wrangler is still looking and talking to people. So, yeah, so I actually did invite Joe to see if he wanted to come and join me on this stream to talk about what we're going to be doing. So yeah, these are some of our people who are going to be coming. Oh, Marina will be our keynote, such as it is. This is my first virtual conference, so there will be mistakes. I'm going to be feverishly making overlays tonight to try to make things suck less. I really hope that chat window is sitting on that overlay right now, because I would be very unhappy if it isn't. So if anybody in chat can tell me, I can see the chat like on the side of my Streamlabs, but I can't see it on the overlay. So if that is a legitimate thing, please let me know. All right. Yeah. So she is Ukrainian, senior technical advisor on things like ICS and SCADA. Oh, really? Very cool. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Looking forward to having Marina on. Lives in Switzerland. Obviously, time zones being what they are, we need to make sure that people can get on when it's not too late. And this starts at 4 p.m. Eastern time, Eastern U.S. time. That is 1 p.m. Pacific. Let me see. Time zones being what they are, I believe we're still +7. I'll have to figure out what that is in GMT. But plan accordingly. I think it's 5, so it'd be like 9 o'clock ish GMT time. So show up at 8, and if you're early, great. If you're not, you can stick around and hang out, and I'll have the stream up and prepped, between 30 to 15 minutes beforehand. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, hope everybody can join us. And oh no, wait, what's this? No. Okay, good. Okay, Patrick Stewart was trending, and I was like, oh no, that sucks. Let's not do that. Let's not do that this week. That would be very bad, not good. Double plus not good. So let me see who's this person. InfoSec nerd, OSINT lover, stays curious. Okay. Yeah. Joe Gray, for those of you who don't know, I said the Ascension. He does a lot of OSINT related items, missing person CTF. Does some SECTFs as well from time to time and wins them, or at least comes in really high on the list. I think the last time we had him on, he had just, has it been 2 years, 3 years? We'd interviewed him once on our podcast, for winning the first annual SECTF at DerbyCon. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna have a star-studded event. Human Decoded is another person. We'll be talking about, let's see, how easy it is for you to build an OSINT type tool in Python. So there you go. We'll be having some demonstrations, some demos. Hopefully the demo gods will be kind, and we'll be able to make that happen. So yeah, it's looking to be a good time. And if something happens and somebody can't show up, Joe and I will be talking about. Joe can talk about anything, which is great. He's super knowledgeable about everything, including some of the issues that are going on here. He's actually learning Russian, so he can get better at understanding what's going on in that world, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, 1600 to whenever U.S. Eastern time, and it'll be on our Twitch right here. Same bet time, same bet channel. So there you go. All right, cool. Nothing's wrong, by the way. And Nosferatu is now trending. Weird. Okay. Anyway, let's see. So we're going to be supporting Nova Ukraine. So somebody had asked me earlier on Twitter, hey, are you sure that the charity that we're using is legitimate? I asked Joe the same thing, and he said that these people are actually really good. He had talked to people who are in Ukraine, and they are a legit charity. So, if that's a question you want to ask later on in chat to Joe, we can also answer or allay any fears to that. Also, since we're not taking any of the money because I don't want to take the money, I don't want to have to deal with the money. You can go directly to this site, or, if you say, hey, I don't want to do Nova Ukraine, go find an organization that you feel comfortable with giving money to. If it's the Red Cross, if it's, Doctors Without Borders, or, some humanitarian aid relief effort that is, worldwide and well-known. I would encourage you to donate to whomever you feel would do the best with your money. But this is who we are suggesting during the fundraiser, or during the virtual conference that we're doing. So they also take crypto. So if you enjoy giving your crypto away, or you want to hoard your crypto like Dragon or like Smaug, feel free to donate with real US dollars, or using PayPal or Facebook Donate. So there you go. Also, something to keep in mind, if you work for a large organization or you work for a company that is caring enough, they may actually match your donations. So you might want to look into your organizations and see what they're doing in terms of charity matching. Some I believe, like Microsoft and or Amazon, are doing up to $5 million worth of matching donations, in addition to probably their own generous donations. So feel free to hit up your benefits portals or your HR people and say, hey, what are we doing if I wanted to donate money? Okay, so we talked about a little bit about the conference. There will be mistakes made. I'm still getting all this workflow down. We'll have. I made some overlays for the podcast because I was like, oh, well, we'll use this for the podcast and whatever. And I made one for like 3 people. So myself, Miss Berlin, Mr. Betcher. Then I made one for 4 just in case we have a guest. This Sunday, we actually have 4 people. We'll have myself, Mr. Betcher, and a couple of people on talking about security automation for the podcast at 6:30 Pacific time. Sunday night. So I'm going to be doing a lot of streaming this weekend, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so now I need one for potentially about 8 people. So I'm going to be feverishly making overlays and modifying scenes and stuff. So I'm definitely learning. I bought a 7-day free trial of Adobe After Effects to make fun little logo things, and I've been watching YouTube videos at night to up our production value game, if you will. So if it's interesting. It's you can either go the full route and just pay for everything, including overlays and icons and stuff, or you can do like me and do it the hard way, and take your time and effort and do it yourself. So there's something to both of them where it's like, oh well, I'm already set up and I'm already ready to go. So. Man, look at this. We got us another data leak. I actually had some stuff queued up, but I did not see this one about Samsung data and source code. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Wow. Oh man, they are just killing it. Look at them. LAPSUS again. Or LAPSUS. My bad. LAPSUS. $. I don't know. Is it like LAPSUS? I don't know. Data extortion group leaked a huge collection of confidential data they claim to be from Samsung Electronics, South Korean electronics company. Comes less than a week after they released a 20 gig archive of about we talked about the Nvidia stuff yesterday. I actually found a news story today that I was going to show where Nvidia actually confirmed. I didn't actually see confirmation in the article that we posted yesterday. But yeah, today's is... they actually, the story that I had saw said they actually confirmed the code was, the data was actually lost. So they actually, yes, we've been breached. So gang teases Samsung data lake. Posted earlier today, extortion gang teasing about Samsung releasing data with snapshot of C and C++ directives in Samsung software. Okay. Well, very interesting. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. I don't know. It's hard to fake that, or maybe they're just really good at faking stuff. So there you go. After teasing, they published a description of the leak, saying it contains source code and trust source code for every trusted applet, algorithms for biometric unlock operations. Interesting. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Bootloader source code for all recent Samsung devices. That might be good. Well, I wouldn't say it might be good for the rooting community. Source code from Qualcomm. That's going to be a problem. I can definitely see some potential damages being paid to Qualcomm for that one. Source code from their activation servers. Oh goodness. Okay. What does that mean? So, I mean, obviously, having all this source code to various software allows you to know and look at, I mean, it's almost like what we do when we're doing pen tests, right? We ask for the source code, but we never get it. They have the source code, and then they can, play and futz with the activation servers on the that are on the web. They'll have access to some of Qualcomm stuff. Now the problem with Qualcomm, chipsets are often used in multiple devices. So if you have, one Qualcomm chipset, a Bluetooth or a Wi-Fi chipset, it might be used in another device. So if you find a vulnerability in the code that has been leaked by Qualcomm, from Qualcomm, then you might be able to own not just Samsung stuff, but other stuff as well if there's vulnerabilities on there. So let me see. Oh, thanks, BSD Bandit. BSD Bandit is following us. Appreciate that. Crypto Commando, thank you for coming. I'm just a channel. Of course, Black Girls Hack said hello before we got on the show here, and been a big fan of theirs. And we, being BreakSec, have worked with them, have set up scholarships to get vouchers for certification exams and stuff. So it's really awesome to see them out today on our stream. So Pastry Death also, welcome. Prickly Pete, Dat Forensics Guy, Cheerio, of course, one of the speakers for tomorrow. Crypto Commando, I'm just a channel. Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks y'all for getting on. So So, if the details are, of course, accurate, Samsung's suffered a major data breach that could cause a huge damage to the company. I wonder how they tag this stuff, or when you're when you're dealing with a data breach like this, you've pulled all this down, and now you've got intern, okay, we've grabbed all this data from Samsung. We need you now to catalog and understand what's going on with it. Any specific items of note, or run these commands. I'm sure that there's somebody's 9 to 5 job at LAPSUS, the bad guy company there, or org is run this command to look for certain strings that might be passwords, or look for API keys that could do X or whatever, because next week we're going to start our offensive, so we need to have this information. So these are the deliverables that you're going to need to get to us before the end of the week. Bob, we've noticed a performance issue. You're not able to run those commands and get that stuff done. I'm just shooting the shit here. So, it looks like they had a torrent as well. So they leaked it into a torrent. Appears to be highly popular. More than 400 people sharing the content. Oof. I wonder how many of those 400 people are actually torrenting it and like enabling all of the security and running it through Tor and making sure that you're not exposing your IP address, because I could see lawsuits being 399 John Does and Bob, because Bob leaked his IP address, or he was running uTorrent without encryption enabled. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so part 1 contains a dump of source code and related data about device security and encryption, and various repos. Oh wow, they got everything, man. Jesus, look at that. Samsung account backends and front ends, and Bixby smart things. Oh great. That means my smartwatch, probably the source code for that got whacked as well. So there you go. Oh, so we're going to get more stories from this. The breach we talked about, 71,000 employees' information was stolen as well. So they've been added 71,335 compromised accounts to have I been pwned. Well, that's a quick week, isn't it? So yeah, there you go. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, there's going to be more coming out of that as people start realizing what's been taken and what hasn't been. So let me see. Cisco Talos Intelligence Group. Oh yeah, I was just reading through their weekly threat roundup. I didn't know if there was anything here of note. They published a glimpse into prevalent threats between 25 Feb and 4 March. Most prevalent threats highlighted in the roundup. These were win.pack.razi, generic name for Windows Trojan, collects sensitive information from big data. Okay. Information collected includes screenshots. Oh, that's not good. Samples modify auto execute functionality by setting and creating a value in the registry for persistence. Yep. We talked a little bit about that. Mr. Betcher, and Michael Goff, Hacker Hurricane, have spent years talking about registries being used for persistence mechanisms, being able to, when a system shuts down, the registry writes, "Hey, BSD Bandit, what's going on, my man? Thank you for coming. Appreciate it." When the system goes to shut down, keys are written into the registry. And once the system comes up, the keys are written or deleted from the registry after being called, and it's hard to find those things if you're working through that. So Emotet, of course, yeah. CACBot, QBot, been around, yeah. Those are still high quality targets there. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. He's enjoying our fantastic Friday, so I appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. I've enjoyed for years the pandemic every day, seeing your tweets on your positivity and everything. It's awesome. And he has so many shirts. Oh my goodness. So many shirts. It's like a new shirt every day. I don't know where he gets them from, but it's pretty awesome. If you ever get a chance to follow BSD Bandit, definitely take the time to go and check him out. He's awesome. So Expiro, file infector, information stealer, hinders analysis, anti-debugging, anti-analysis tricks. Okay. Extreme rat, remote access Trojan. Yep. Wow, these aren't overly new. I mean, you got CACBot from 2008. You got Extreme Rat from 2010. Yeah. I wonder if these are variants or maybe version. They've changed them enough that they're still an issue. Not so much an issue. It's written in Delphi. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, Delphi or Delphi. Yeah, Delphi. I have seen it. I think I've used it in one program. No, that's not it. That's Oracle at Delphi. Good grief. Program. There you go. Programming language. Yeah, there we go. Multi-purpose language. Compilers generate native code. Let me see. Dialect provides integrated ID for rapid. What's the history? Where's the history? History of Delphi. Okay. Okay, this is why we can't. There we go. Oh man, that's an old name. Borland. Wow. Okay. They used to make games and stuff. I remember playing like Where in the World's Carmen Sandiego and like Reader Rabbit back when I was a kid doing typing tutorials and stuff. Yeah, they're old school, and they created a programming language. So there you go. So looks like it was Pascal with objects or Turbo Pascal. So there you go. Delphi 1.60. Yeah, this is how old the Delphi is. Released in 1995 for 16-bit Windows 3.1, an early example of what became known as rapid application development tools. So, yeah, crazy. All right, let's close this. And let's see. Threat breakdowns. So here's some of the IOCs collected. Cool. I'm going to put this in the chat window. So if anybody wants to add these IOCs to their, if they're not already getting them in some kind of threat list or what have you, you can do that. So there's different registry keys that you can look for file hashes for various things. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff there. So. Oh yeah, MITRE ATT&CK. So they've got the MITRE ATT&CK frameworks here. Dunk. There we go. So let me see. It does process injection. It does indicator removal on host. We talked about a little bit about that. Indirect command execution, obfuscated files or information, and again process injection under defensive evasion. Okay, so it has privilege escalation through process injection, and then it does evasion of tools that might look for it through process injection or removal of on host. Yeah, so there you go. There's some interesting items there. So let's back it up here. So yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's going to go down through here and give you all of these things for CACBot and the Delphi stuff, and including some IP addresses that have been contacted by the malware, but does not necessarily include maliciousness. Interesting there. Okay. All right. So let's get rid of this one here. Oh, there we go. I think my mouse is about to die. I found this one interesting. It says all new sales in Russia. Microsoft is announcing that it will stop all new sales of software, services, and products in Russia. This is all part of the, we need to shun Russia, because, they're not being good people right now. They're not being good neighbors. They're, doing stupid shit, and their leadership is doing stupid shit. So, this is part of the sanctions, I would imagine. They're gonna, you can't sell things to Iran or North Korea, and now you can't sell things to, Russia right now. So, Redmond security experts helped fend off attempts to compromise over 20 Ukrainian IT government and financial organizations. The most recent example being attacks against several civilian sites and a major Ukrainian broadcaster. So they're attacking news organizations. I bet it's an interesting time over there with the MS TIC folks. So yeah. Doing some good work there, Microsoft Tick folks. Keep doing what you're doing. They also mentioned Intel and AMD have halted processor sales and will no longer deliver products. I saw in the news like FedEx and UPS also weren't delivering items to them as well. Interesting. So Microsoft did not say anything about suspending existing support, likely because Russia might consider breach of contract an act of war. Wow. Who's the lawyer going to argue that one in international court? I'll tell you. That is super interesting. Breach of contract being an act of war. Oof. Yeah. Okay. I don't know geopolitics like that, so I didn't know that a single company could constitute an act of war by refusing to do something for somebody. So that was an interesting thing there. So. I actually saw that somebody had sent this to me today. Company code leaking more passwords and secrets. They're saying software code pushed to online repos exposed twice as many secrets compared to last year, according to Dark Readings. Robert Lemos. 6 million passwords, API keys, and other sensitive data, known as development secrets, in 2021, doubling the number from the previous year. Okay. On average, the company found 3 out of every 1,000 commits leaked a secret. Frequency 50% higher. Oh, man, I don't know. I could see. I hate the twice as many secrets compared to last year. Okay, so it went from 2 of every 1,000 commits to 3 of every 1,000 commits. I mean, that's what, 0.003 commits to GitHub. I mean, yeah, it's every secret being leaked to GitHub is bad, but it's when they say 50% higher than, if you don't know the actual number, if you didn't know it was 3 out of every 1,000 commits, the 50% sounds way worse than it actually is. I mean, if it was 500 out of every 1,000 commits, that would be a huge issue. I don't know. That it feels weird for me. Where the more and more I read some of these articles, it reminds me that they. I'll put that in the stream chat as well there for everybody. Secret, of course, refers to any digital authentication credentials that grant access to services, systems, and data, including API keys, application or service credentials, or security certificates, Git Guardian says. In almost all attacks, secrets are used in one way or another, of course. Report follows some significant breaches in 2021 where secrets were leaked. A year ago, code checking from firm Cove created Docker images, modifying an upload tool to send credentials to the attackers, likely compromising development processes. Okay. Attackers leaked source code from game. Oh, yes, that is true statement. 6,000 Git repos and 3 million documents, leaking more than 6,600 development secrets. Whoa. Good Lord. That is a lot. Okay. 6,000 repos, more than 1,100 had at least one. Okay, so that beats the trend right there. If they're saying 3 out of 1,000 over here, and this is pretty much 1 in 6. 1 in 6 repos had some kind of vulnerability or had some kind of secret in them, including their history. Okay, so maybe that's the difference there. It's like you can have 1,000 commits in one repo, or so that makes sense. Okay. Leaked secrets are an overwhelming problem. Typical company with 400 developers scanning its repositories discovered 1,050 unique secrets left behind in developers' code. That's true. That would also be why we've seen vulnerabilities like the one yesterday where hard-coded credentials were left inside of those medical infusion pumps. Those are the kinds of secrets that they're talking about in this article. So somebody committed a test credential or something like that up into the repo. So. The reality is that code today, it will go into, reality is that code today, yeah, that's a comma. It will go into, that is an, yeah, that doesn't sound right. Then it will be cloned on all your developer machines, maybe their personal professional machines, and it'll be shared across messaging systems. Okay. Yeah. Is this where they're about to tell us to buy Git Guardian? No. Okay, good. All right. Companies should involve developers more closely with application security and create a shared responsibility model. GateGuard states in its report. That's a really odd sentence, too. Involving a developer results in closing 72% more incidents and remediating twice as fast than when AppSec professionals have to go at it alone. Well, yeah, because, I mean, developers, I would imagine developers know where the skeletons are buried, right? Um, you know, I honestly think sometimes the reason developers are hesitant or resistant to fixing things is because, one, either they know they put them in there themselves and they're feeling bad about putting them in the first place, or, that's old code that I don't want to have to hack on anymore. And yet I'm the one who's going to have to go back and fix these mistakes that I didn't make. That's extra work that I have to do that I didn't create in the first place because, Bob left 6 months ago and left us holding the bag. Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you, Prickly Pete. Appreciate it. Thank you. It says Pony Love. WNIE Lover. Pony Lover. Touch Touche Janae. Oh, there you go. Okay. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate that. Yeah. So, yeah, I talked about this earlier in the week as well, making sure that everybody is responsible for security, making sure that they're doing their part. I saw something oh man, I wish I'd kept that article. They had said instead of calling it shifting left, you need to call it smearing left, which I don't like the word smear. It reminds me of the word moist. I don't like the word moist either. But it's like, the jobs, we should not be siloed in our organization. So we should have, like this, but, the smearing kind of, blends these things together instead of, oh, I'm a developer and I'm a security person. Having that smeared further to the left means that, security blends more into the CI/CD pipeline. And, both ways. So developers should be, smearing maybe to the right or something. Yeah. So, by also the last thing they said, by integrating vulnerability scanning into development workflows, security isn't a bottleneck anymore. Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah. I mean, I worry about the over reliance on vulnerability scanning as it isn't a bottleneck anymore. There's still going to be things, catching it at the earliest stage and limit remediation costs. Yeah, that's been kind of the mantra for years. Trying to shift left is reducing the amount of cost, fixing things early instead of fixing it late. So that does make sense. I do worry that the overdependence on, code scanning or automated code scanning, with the one thing we want to stress to our developers is it's a tool, so it can be wrong. And we want to make sure that, there is some due diligence or at least spot checks every once in a while when, say, large pieces of code is being added in or what have you. I mean, yeah, you don't have to have manual checks every time, but if you're, making a release or, you're adding, let's say more than 500 lines of code, you may want to have somebody run it through a Fortify or a Coverity, and then maybe do a once over just in case your detection rules or something didn't jive. So, I don't want to lie to y'all. This one may be a short one today because, like I said, our conference, Sunflower Con, which if you've joined us late, is going to be, it looks like it's going to be about 4 or 5 hours long. So I'm not going to be talking the whole time, thankfully. But it's gonna, take its toll for somebody like myself. I tend to, I feel energized after doing these. I don't do visual. For the last 8 years, the podcast has pretty much been audio. I joked that I have a face for radio, and nobody wants to see that. So, but yeah, I'm energized. I've been energized by the Twitch stuff all week. Been really happy about what's been going on and the feedback I've been getting. I hope all of our viewers who are watching this right now, who will hear this in a few minutes, are on. Touche Janae, yeah. Alto, yeah. Anna Mosey, another TT viewer. Welcome. Thank you for following. Cax IPS 06. I need to work on my pronunciations. So there you go. Yeah. So, if y'all have any questions, feel free to pop them into chat. That's what I'm here for. We have, thanks to some feedback from some of the other listeners from CSEC East, I've relaxed the phone number requirements to post in the chat window because of some people they didn't trust their phone number with Twitch, which is fair. And it goes to security versus usability, right? I mean, I think we talked about this with the user assisted stuff. The security guy in me is like, I want to be green. I want the security thing to be completely green over there. But if I, turn off this one verification, it goes down. Does that make it less secure? Probably does. But for usability purposes, I want people to be able to chat, not immediately, but I want to have some kind of security, but I don't want to be so secure that it doesn't make it usable for people. So I turned off the phone number verification. If anybody has any issues with email verification, we can take a look at that. But since we're going to have some followers who are going to be joining today for tomorrow's conference, making sure that they can actually chat and participate in the discussions was important. So that's why I've done that. So all right, let me see. What else do we have? Twitch leak. Oh yeah, that one. That one caused a lot of issues, I'd imagine. So let me see. Companies can't just train their way to more secure endpoints. What? Criminals will keep stealing end-user credentials despite employee awareness, so organizations need high-tech solutions as well. Sure, it's called defense in depth, right? You can make people aware and give them all the phishing training you want, but, sometimes you need to put some technical controls in to insure yourself, or to make yourself, if they do click on that, then it reduces the damage that occurs. So, let me blow that up for a second here. So make sure everybody can still hear me. Turn on. Okay, good. All right. Just making sure I'm enabling performance mode because it makes my laptop sound less like a freight train than normal. So protections to defend against attacks. Which of the following protections have you deployed to defend against attacks that use stolen end user credentials? 73%. 73% have increased end user awareness training. Oh God. 54% EDR, remote access 46%, privileged access management, PAM 43%, of course. Yeah, 41% segmentation, prevent lateral movement. Good. UEBA, user and entity behavioral analytics. Okay. 2% is other, and 3 have done nothing. 3% of the people responded said, no worries. And they say what? Survey of 190 IT and cybersecurity professionals in December 2021 and December 2020. Okay. Multiple responses allowed. Okay. I wonder why they've increased the amount of training. Is it because it's cheap? I mean, if you've already bought the training, it doesn't cost a lot to send out yet another email saying, hey, you need to, do this training again. Well, I just did it 3 months ago. Yeah, well, more training, right? The training is cheap because we've already bought it, or it's cheaper than rolling out an EDR because it's just really, HR is going to force people to do this, so they're going to turn off their internet access or something, or turn off the remote access. I find it interesting that the access management decreased from 52 to 46%. Does that mean they got rid of the remote access management, or they've gone to a different method by doing remote access management? I'm not sure there. So privileged access management went up. It was about 5%. Okay. I like the segmentation. I actually thought that would be the best because, if you're defending against attacks, limiting the area that they can be in seems like it would be a better option in some cases. I mean, once you've set up your EDR on the endpoint and done the training, ideally you either want to isolate the endpoint, in its bubble by segmentation, so that if somebody does compromise this circle, then that's all they can do. They can't do all of the other. Oh, there we go. There's a larger bit there. They can't radiate out. They can't radiate to somebody else's laptop. The worst thing would be, especially since everybody, is still working from home. Everybody at home has a flat network. So if you have a corporate network and your children or your family member gets infected by something that moves laterally inside your home network, one or more companies could be, in trouble with that. So yeah, having the ability to isolate the systems while they're at home seems to be one of the better ideas. So, any thoughts from the chat room right now? Anybody have anything to say about more secure endpoints? Above graphic, dark blue bars. At first glance, user training is clearly the top choice. Yes, not only is it most universally adopted countermeasure, it's grown from zoning. Almost every category has grown. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's the IT and security people who think that training is effective. I mean, depending on who you talk to in InfoSec, training is not effective, and it actually harms people, especially if these training or user awareness trainings come with some kind of practical exam, or somebody hires a company to do phishing exercises. In many ways it actually harms people, because if your job is opening attachments or vetting people in, say, HR, and I think that's where they're talking about the lateral movement. If HR's job is to do things that would open them to attack, you would want to isolate them or secure them or segment them from being able to infect the rest of the company. So yeah, there you go. Entity Behavior Analytics reveals understanding that educating employees isn't sufficient enough to protect against hacks. You need to find advanced solutions to counteract new techniques. Okay, there you go. So these folks that got the UEBA stuff found out, we can give training, but it still causes issues. So yeah. So it's interesting. So the 26% that used the training first are finding out, now maybe we didn't waste our money on training, but we spent a bunch of money on UEBA to find out that training isn't effective. So there you go. So they have a full report here. Let me just pop that in the chat as well. Would you like to know more? There you go. Welcome new chat viewer. Touche Jane, Elysian. Hello, Elysian. How are you? Welcome to the chat. If you have any questions about anything or any of the links in the chat, please feel free to let me know. I'm not an expert, but I like to. I have opinions, and hopefully they're not wrong. I would hope that other people in the chat also have opinions that they can talk about various things. If you work in IT or security, we just talked about how training is fairly ubiquitous across all organizations, but its effectiveness varies somewhat. So, all right. Let me see. What are if you like this, you may also like Phishing attack in Ukraine could be prelude to disinformation campaign. Okay, yeah, great. AI's future in defensive cybersecurity. Really? So about 10 years ago, just a little story. The whole big thing was that AI was going to take over, and we wouldn't have to worry about pen tests anymore, because pen testing will be done by computers, or we secure, what was that? Something networks, self-healing networks. That's what it was. It was like, computer networks will be so smart that they'll fix themselves. I'm still waiting for that to happen. I look forward to the day when we don't have to worry about fixing the networks. They'll self-patch themselves. They'll fix any issues. They'll detect when another AI is coming in to try to beat them up and make them feel ugly. And, we won't have to have humans do it. I can go back to sleep at 3 a.m. when I get a phone call that says, hey, there's a problem. Oh, don't worry. The AI will fix it. Done. That kind of thing. But so, and of course, AI, depending on who you talk to, it's a lovely marketing term. Say AI is a buzzword gets thrown there. Yeah, there you go. Right. Impress and obscure rather than to clarify how the services work. Yeah. We have AI. We have ML. We're using all the MLs and the AIs. So, yeah, AI won't solve all problems. Growing toolbox for accelerating security workflows and better detecting threats. Now, I can believe that. If it can tell you, hey, because of past things, I think this might be a problem, and you can tune it accordingly. So that makes sense. Pattern matching and threat detection. Oh, is this where they're going to say that, really AI is nothing but, jump to conclusions mad or something? AI won't replace signatures, nor should it, because these technologies complement one another. Whereas good signatures are good at detecting known threat artifacts, AI algorithms trained on vast databases that cybersecurity companies have accumulated over the years are better at detecting previously unseen artifacts. Right. So, yeah, I don't want to call it fancy grep. I don't want to call it, fancy search or anything like that. But if it can parse out large amounts of data that something may be missed by a human being, I think it's great, because if it's humans doing it, humans can be prone to biases. They can be prone to causing missing things. If you've spent 8 hours looking at the same list of variables or log files, and you miss one thing, those. I think AI can definitely be used to augment what's going on, and to make sure that if humans could catch 65% of those things, and AI can find the other 30-some% that humans may have missed, or be able to verify that 65% is good versus, just wondering if the 65% is good, or spending thousands and millions of dollars by hiring a bunch of people to then confirm that. If they can, they can save money, they can save time. AIs don't have to sleep necessarily. So, if the AI is less effective than the human, but it still finds, 40% of what's going on. I mean, there's definitely value in, come on. One of these days, my monitors will work correctly. Let me see. Unfortunately, much of the security community is not exploring the applications of AI beyond narrow attack detection use cases. To keep pace with threats, it'll be necessary to explore new application areas. And they say some areas that the defensive security community needs to focus urgently on include AI models can accurately predict which security cases analysts truly care about, then intuitively queue up relevant information for security operators. Natural language and visualization user interfaces, not unlike the way you can search COVID-19 case numbers, with Google results returning neatly visualized case tracker graphs. Okay, maybe, yeah. Models that can help explain what suspicious observables do. For example, artificial neural networks can automatically explain the purpose of a suspicious PowerShell script. Oh, there you go. Okay. I could also see them being used to do, what do they call that? not scenarios, but running scenarios, kind of like, if I were to run, maybe some kind of really fast sandboxing thing. If I ran this PowerShell script in, this sandbox sped up 10,000 times, what would happen? I mean, you could definitely see a use case where, you could, have an AI say, okay, if this happens, I want to shut down this server. Okay, well, what happens then? I mean, I could see it being used to model activity against these things. So I mean that makes a lot of sense. Okay. I have no experience with AI, ML, neural networks. I mean, all that stuff sounds like it came straight out of Star Trek, but means something completely different from Star Trek. So, yeah. I read I have a PDF on another computer about 7 things to worry about when you're rolling out your PKI. I'm gonna have to grab that eventually, and we can go through that. So the other thing I got for upgrades is I have this old Rebel T2i SLR that I've had for about a decade, and I wanted to use it as a webcam for the longest time, but I had to use it like with a capture card and stuff, and I thought I needed to do it that way. No, it has a micro USB in it that you can use. The cable that came with it had a micro USB with like some kind of RCA type of jack on the outside. But I went online and found out that Canon actually has a webcam utility for these and a bunch of other cameras. So if you have an SLR, digital SLR or something like that, if it works that way, all you need is a USB cable. And then I went and bought from Amazon like an adapter that looks like a battery, but it has a little power cable thing in the side, kind of like how professional camera people do. And then it just plugs into AC outlet down underneath, so I never have to use the batteries, which is great. It would cost like $30, but now I've got a nice SLR and it zooms in and out, and I've got three you can focus in, and I wouldn't say better than the webcam that I've got because I have a Brio as well, but it's just nice to not have to trash this thing because I could not get rid of it. I tried selling it on the local Facebook website, and nobody wanted it. So come with 3 lenses and everything. But I mean, now that it seems to be working fairly well, I can continue using it for other things. So, all right. So, oh wow. Time does in fact fly. Wow. Wow. Oh yeah. You know what? I did not see this one, but damn. That is a real thing, and it's not just SOC analysts, but I think a lot of IR people, and a lot of IT folks are definitely burning out, which sucks because I don't think we are replacing them as quickly as they're burning out, and stress and frustration plague SOC. Nearly 70% understaffed teams. Yep, 70% are understaffed. 60% say their workloads have spiked over the last year. Yep. Security automation platform vendor Tynes, 468 SOC analysts. Wow. Each organization has 500 or more employees. Burnout was a major theme in the findings. Dang. Manual work. Oh, crap. Okay. I did not plan on this, but yeah, Sunday night we're going to be talking with one of I believe she's more development automation. I'm going to reach out and ask her about that, but this is good. So manual work eats up more than half their time, and reporting and monitoring are their least favorite parts of the job. That is a fair statement. I mean, it depends on what the reporting is. If they have to write, huge documents every time they're doing something, or some of this is process related. It's like, I found a detection. What's my escalation path or what have you? More than 65% say half their security tasks could be automated. Yes. The problem is, how long would it take to automate them? And that actually takes away from their other stuff. So, yeah. Leaving them time to do deeper security work. 64% are considering leaving the organization for a new position somewhere else. Those 64%, I'm talking to you right now, right here. 64% of you are leaving your company to go, hopefully to go do something else. Because if you're going to go to another organization and do SOC, I hate to tell you, but you're going to go, you might be going to, it may look nicer on the other side, but you may end up, going back to doing the same thing over and over again. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, the manual work thing. I mean, I don't work in SOC. I've never worked in a SOC. I mean, I knew people who've worked in SOCs, SOCs, not SOX. That's an audit thing. But yeah, I'd imagine that it's the same stuff over and over again, isn't it? I mean, I would imagine looking at the same thing over and over again. Oh, a couple of times I've walked into our operations area and, things are flashing red all over the board. And I'm like, oh my God, look at this thing. And they're like, oh no, that's normal. We don't worry about that. We just, hit the space bar and turn off the alarm again. Cause they keep coming up. So, I mean, it's hard to do all of the other work and your manual work at the same time. And it seems like if there's ways to automate those things, management, I don't want to say management needs to be aware of this, but I mean, I wonder how much of management's work is manual as well, which also, causes them to work extra hours. And, the one thing that I've always been not a fan of is in reporting, if you're writing something and it takes you longer to write it than it is to actually review it, I don't find a lot of value in that. If it takes me 2 days to write a report for a 30-minute meeting, what's the point? There should be a way to make a template that I can either update on the fly as a living document so that, it takes me 10 minutes to make any changes, or, if I'm having to do a regular weekly report or something like this, if it's an hour-long meeting, it shouldn't take me no more than 10 minutes to update a document. And if it's taking me days to do so, there's no value there. I mean, even if it's a decision-making document, there needs to be a good reason, and we need to maximize the amount of time that we're doing these things. Because every time you're doing manual work, again, going back to the AI stuff, that's less time you actually do to be able to find bad guys or defender. The defenders are writing reports. I think what does that mean? Defenders are writing reports, attending meetings, and all this stuff, and the bad guys just hacking your systems. I mean, is the manual work, the reporting and the monitoring, useful to protecting your environment? I would probably say no. But I know that management likes it because it makes it look good, like you're actually doing something. So, anywho, they say while understaffing and low budgets do hold teams back, what's dragging them under is repetitive manual. I'm sorry, I did not read this before I finished reading it. So there you go. It is repetitive manual tasks which keep them from higher impact projects that contribute to their organization's overall security posture. I really need to start reading like all the way down to the end of the docs. So my apologies to everybody. So, I'm at an hour and I'm going to have to cut it short this week, everybody. I do appreciate the people who are here listening. BSD Bandit, of course, thank you for chatting. I appreciate you, sir. You are awesome and don't ever change. Thank you to Alto, Annie Mosey, another TTT viewer, Elysian, Jay Blaher, yeah, Cax IPS06 and Touche Janae, and Black Girls Hack, of course, as well, who were on earlier, for coming on and listening to me talk. I'm going to be doing this for pretty much the rest of the month because as I had said on a previous in our Slack channel, I was like, I'm like level 3 in Warcraft right now, and the missions that I've been given are to go out and collect 50 rat tails so that I can level up. So I'm at that point right now where I'm trying to level up with rat tails. So hello, Touche Janae. Yeah, so I need a lot of rat tails, and part of doing that is getting your stream done, getting your hours in. So there's certain milestones that have to be reached before you can, level up, if you will, to partner, affiliate, and community. So I do appreciate everybody for following, and we're here. As you can see, our Slack, our tip jar. If you got value from this and all of our other VODs on here, you can go to BDS Patreon and support us that way. Also, it's just, doing a podcast weekly, doing an hourly show every day for the next month, and just doing community, making community happen. So I appreciate everybody for doing that. Our Twitter, of course, is BreakSec. Miss Berlin's is at InfoSister. Mr. Betcher's is at Betcher Pwned. And you can follow me at Brian Break. So there's all of those. And our website is breaksec.com/website. Which is a bit.ly link that'll take you there. So I hope to see everybody back tomorrow for Sunflower Con. It starts at 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and I think 6 or 7 or 8 GMT. I apologize. I will tweet out the correct times for that. So hope everyone has a great day. Stay safe. Be nice to one another. Take care of yourselves. Because as we're fond of saying here, you're the only you have, and we'll see you tomorrow.